Hi, let me introduce you to Liezele. She's a 40-year-old woman living in the Philippines in the city of Cebu. Her job is to recycle the trash that is being brought every day to a dump site where she lives. She just takes the plastics she finds in the trash and then sells it to a recycling company. She's been doing that for about 20 years. This is the dump site where she works. It's a place where children, adults, everybody mingle to collect the trash. It's actually a private land and none of the people here are employees. They just survive by recycling. A truck comes about once in a day almost every day, but they never know when the truck is gonna come, so sometimes they just wait. Liezele is a very emotional woman, and that she told us the very first day we met. She told us she would cry, and so she did, quite often. And when you take a look at her life, you understand why. Her father left her mother when she was pregnant, and her mother died a month after her birth. She doesn't even know why. She was then raised by her aunt on her mother's side, but that was just the beginning of her problems. Her aunt was married to an abusive, alcoholic man who was beating Liezele. She mentioned that she had to walk about 30 minutes to get some water, 1 hour 30 to go to school, and if she was late, he would hang her by the feet. Her aunt had to hide her sometimes from him so that Liezele wouldn't get hurt. But to make it clearer, her traumas are so intense that every time the past comes to her mind, tears roll down her eyes. It could be any questions about her past. Factual questions like, where do you come from? Or more emotional questions like, what are your best memories? I think, and that is only just my perspective, given the intensity of her trauma, there was much more than just beating with his man. So you have to know that it was difficult to have her opening up. What took me time to understand as I was asking her questions about happiness is that not only there wasn't much of it in her life, but the concept of happiness itself is totally unknown to her. Where she comes from, it's only just about survival. This idea that you can relax, be happy, take time for yourself is very widespread in the West, but doesn't exist in every place here. It's not because she's too poor for that, it's really that it is unknown to her. After collecting the trash, she sits there waiting for the truck, which ended up not coming today. The people you see around here aren't friends, they are scavengers like her. They are competitors somehow, but they never argue or fight. What's incredible is that she has no one to support her. No friends, no family. Her aunt died, the abusive husband too. She has no kids, she tried, didn't work. The only people she has is her sick husband you see here, as well as her niece and nephew on his husband's side. You can see the niece here. She said her husband is too sick to work because of high blood pressure. She supports all of them with only $90 a month. What she told us is that she cannot say no. Probably due to her traumas, she didn't develop enough confidence or strength to just say no. So whenever they can, some people will try to use her weakness for their benefit. Here is Liezele's house. It's right next to the dump site and exactly where she sells the plastic she finds. Her house is a little bit like a cave. It's dark, the ceiling is very low, and it's extremely small. There are 5 persons living up there on the first floor, her niece, her nephew, her husband, and the brother of her husband. All in that tiny space. On this day, we came back to the dump site. The truck had delivered the trash in the morning and they did not allow us to film it. With her work, she earns about 200 pesos a day, which makes about $3 a day. She used to earn a little bit more before, but a recycling company recently moved away, which took away a part of her income. When she was 6, probably out of remorse, the father's family suggested her aunt to pay for her education, but out of pride her aunt refused. I've learned that she still could have done something to get out of this situation. It's still possible for her to study, but she didn't, probably because during her childhood we didn't open her to that kind of perspective. I couldn't help but asking if Liezele tried getting out of her situation at some point, but actually, if you don't have at least a high school degree here in the Philippines, no one will hire you, not even a call center. Liezele started working at the age of 13 as a maid until the age of 20 on an island called Negros Island. During all that time, her aunt's children were stealing all of her money. She was basically used as a slave. At the age of 20, she moved to Cebu City because being a maid didn't pay enough, and then she started picking up the trash. She isn't in touch with her father anymore. Actually, she doesn't even have a phone. Her father, called Jose, actually came in her home 20 years ago, and since then she never met him again. Here she is with a bundle of plastic over her head, heading home to sell it. A bit later, we witnessed something incredible: the infamous pack bag in the Philippines. It's not plastic garbage, it's food that people get from restaurants or companies. They get paid for taking the trash from restaurants. Then they put it on the floor and try to get the best of it, like meat. But here what you can see is mostly rice. Today she didn't get much meat, probably she came too late. She will then give it to her dog. For her, it is absolutely important that her niece and nephew wouldn't get through the extreme poverty like this the way she did. That's why she insists they would study. She actually takes pride in taking care of them, but sometimes, ironically, she argues with her husband, who would like them to just start working now. Her niece and nephew are a bit like kids for her. She's very sweet to them. As it is often the case in the Philippines, She hopes someday they're gonna take care of her later the same way she took care of them, because she won't get any pension. What you can see here is a rooster they use for combat and gambling. It's very popular here. Here she is back home. What she does here, as you can see, is pretty simple. Next day I decided to go to the island she comes from to find her father, since it was impossible for me to understand how he could have abandoned her that way. I wanted his side of the story. Also, I was frustrated of the lack of explanations and communication between them. Problem is, we had no certainty he was there. He has no phone, Liezele told us the place where he was born and raised, and we just went there. She didn't believe we would actually go there, or she didn't believe we could find him. It's a 4 hours ride on the motorcycle plus 2 hours of ferry. We ended up in the countryside. Liezele had told us that we would need to walk a lot to get to her father's place, but by then they had paved a small road in the forest, which I had never seen. It's a road for motorcycles only. At that moment, our plan was just to ask people where we could find the father, José. We both thought that we would be kicked out by the people living there, since we were putting our noses in family stories which were none of our business. We've been riding in the forest this way for about half an hour. We asked a few people where José was, then we stumbled upon her. Her name is Winner. Sometimes they get very creative with names in the Philippines. Her brother was called Warning, and her other sister was called Last. I was amazed because in the Philippines I had never seen a house as well decorated and colorful as hers. And instead of kicking us out, she just welcomed us with an incredible warmth. At the beginning, she had a very hard time remembering who Liezele was, but it came back to her memory after a few minutes. Actually, Winner was José's neighbor. She explained that it's been 10 years that he hadn't been there. At that point, we thought that the battle was lost. But she told us that one of the kids José had from another woman was in a house nearby. And after a call, here he was. His name is Jovan, 27 years old. He looks 10 years younger. He told us that José, 71 years old, was still working today as a construction worker in Cebu City, where we came from. He knew it well because he had already been working there with his father before. He gave us an address, but it wasn't very clear if that address was the one of the construction company or where the construction site was. We then came back to Cebu and visited the place that was indicated by the sun. It was about 6 p.m. and again I was convinced we would be kicked out of the site since we had no business here. But we talked to the guards, told them we were somehow related to José, and they led us to the offices. For me, it was incredible to see this 71-year-old man in his uniform working 9 hours a day, Monday to Saturday. He actually touched me. His voice was totally extinct, probably due to alcohol and shouting on the construction site. The girls in the office were so much into this whole story that they asked Jose to get downstairs ASAP as he was working at the 22nd floor. I was fascinated by his traits. He was like a painting. We asked him many questions. Why he never cared about his daughter, why he abandoned her, if he knew that she was being beaten as a kid. He expressed a lot of remorse. His eyes were teary, and he said that at that time he couldn't support her or pay for anything, and he lived far away.
Pero wala na nagtrabaho. Wala na nagtrabaho daw ang iyang bana karon. In the same time daw kuno karon ang ginabuhi ni.
Then I've shown him the videos of her working in the dump site. He actually didn't know she was doing that job and felt sorry for her. When I asked him if he was aware of the traumas she had from her childhood, he didn't reply. Then we asked if he would be happy to see his daughter again, and he said yes.
Munang agency na lang.
Next day, we actually came back to his daughter to ask her if she would be happy to meet her father. We were not really sure of what the answer would be, but it has been a relief for her to know that her father had regrets and that he would be happy to see her. It was now the big day. Jose took an afternoon off just to see his daughter. Liezele arrived from an hour-long ride that we booked and seemed very nervous, which is perfectly understandable.
Open na ito.
Come on, tell him to hug her.
Jose was just completely confused. He didn't know how to handle the situation. I was insisting that he would cuddle her or reassure her, but apparently cuddles aren't a big thing here in the Philippines in families.
Si Papa ni mo day, murag day. Japon's kayo day. Murag di pa'y ulitaw anak day.
Si tatay, dili ako na kami dire, kami sa admin, kami should magbuot po do. Labaton na ginawa.
I actually felt lucky that the girls from the offices were here because they've been wonderful at talking to her and make her feel okay.
Gidawat na mo siya. Pero
Sina mysterious way ba nga kuan? So,
nakita yung ang Ginoo pamaagi to.
When she started feeling better, we invited them at a Japanese restaurant nearby. And that's when Liezele's incredible kindness started to shine. Despite her father's reserved attitude, she kept on talking and giving to him. She told him so many things, that she would cook for him. She explained him that he was eligible to a pension due to his age, which is about $16 a month, and that she would get it for him. She said that she was very thankful God allowed him to live that long so that she could still see him. Apparently, Jose's attitude wasn't very negative. He explained me that many men here are like that, they just don't show what they feel. At that moment, Jose had invited her to Negros Island to meet her other siblings. She was very touched by it, probably because for once she had a family. At that moment I told myself that he had made a daughter he didn't care for, and then I'm sure she's the one who will take care of him when he gets older. That's the irony of the situation. He wins and she loses. When I saw he was still very reserved, I asked if he would like to show her the remorse he had shown us 2 days ago, but he didn't answer and he was like paralyzed. We then headed outside. I asked that he would make her a hug, and then we just left. After her father left, Liezele told us she was very, very happy to see her father again. But she told us that she saw something was troubling him. Probably maybe something related to his wife, or just remorse. We don't know. I would like to tell you that I recently met Mae, my girlfriend. She decided to join this project and has been an incredible help. On this video, she's been everywhere with me, translating everything, facing people, making calls. She's very daring and determined. Just like me, she didn't want to show her face because we're not here to promote ourselves. It's not about us. And of course, needless to say that I'm very, very thankful for her help. Also, I made a bet with Mae. She told me that we would find the father of Liezele, and actually I didn't think we would find him. And she won. And my punishment was to dress like a girl and dance at a Christmas party of her company, and dance with the CEO as well. After that, I'm gonna sing an acoustic song that I made about Liezele. Thank you for watching. Fighting your demons and your past, stranded in a land of sadness. Here you are alone with your smile and your tears. I don't know how you've been through this, losing all along from the start. No one to trust or to love apart from God. I hope you get what you need. You're more than that. I hope you wipe the past away and make peace. You need to have for once a shoulder where you could finally rest. You need to feel safe and sound and cared for, to know that love can still exist, and life is not only pain. To find the strength to dream again and break free from chains. I hope you get what you need.